We would like to give a little bit of insight into our guest speaker for today. Mr. Kuhaanand Subramaniam is currently serving as the CEO of Qijang Technologies Sdn Bhd. The hands-on approach of in building 3 major products and another 6 in pipeline has provided the trainer in-depth understanding on business process from ideation to commercialization. By introducing new practices which are driven by POC and prototyping, has allowed quicker and faster transformation of organization. Instilling the value of time in the workforce is key to transforming the organization into a digital unit. Mr. Kuhaanand Subramaniam has provided consultancy in data science and blockchain technology for various industry players. Companies such as Blockchain Technology Malaysia, Otigo Digital Exchange, Cerise Alpha Sdn Bhd, Royal Bank of Canada. During the consultancy periods, he executed a few proof of concepts for banks and blockchain companies. Having said all this, it is definitely our utmost pleasure to have Mr. Kuhaanand Subramaniam here with us today. And without further ado, I would like to pass on the session to our guest speaker for today.
Hi everyone, good morning. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay, so good morning, guys. This is my name is Kuhaanand Subramaniam. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Qijang Technologies. So Qijang has been in, we started this company in 2016, and we have been in the market for the last 5 years right now. And during this period, we have actually encountered a lot of e-commerce sellers, and we have seen a lot of them being successful. At the same time, we're also seeing a lot of them going bust, or not being so successful that they have to close down the business. And see, to be very honest, e-commerce has been growing. And if you look at this is a new normal chart, and COVID has actually accelerated this e-commerce growth. I'm sure you guys see that there's a lot of news in the media saying that Shopee and Lazada are growing 4 times, 5 times, 6 times during this period. But it's not just Shopee, Lazada, but there's a lot of other e-commerce brands who are direct-to-consumer brands which are growing very huge in this period. And the major reason for this is because it's not just that people are buying online right now, but the ease of use and the process which is being simplified right now sort of gives people a feeling that e-commerce is here to stay. Okay, I'm sure you all buy your groceries, your basic needs from your retail stores, and right now your retail stores are all closed down, and we're all struggling to get our supplies on time, right? And e-commerce has become a very, very efficient and a very good replacement for all these retail stores, and people are starting to embrace these technologies. Okay, and that's the major reason why these platforms like Lazada and Shopee have been growing a lot. Okay, just to give you some numbers, if you look at it, 36% of the new customers are new to the internet services. Okay, and 92% of these customers would actually like to remain in these services for a prolonged period of time. Okay, and going towards e-commerce is no longer an option. If today you start a company and you're not in e-commerce, you're not able to sell your product online, you're not able to advertise yourself online, you are likely to, fail in your business. That's sort of like a mantra already. A lot of businesses trying to go online and then they don't actually know how to do it. But before we go in depth how we go about going online, let's just understand what is e-commerce meaning. So e-commerce is defined as electronic commerce, defined as a technology which allows a willing buyer and a willing seller to complete a business transaction via the internet. So we have two people, okay, one buyer or one seller. Instead of meeting each other, writing emails or sending documents to each other, they execute an e-commerce transaction via online. And they make another party, which is a marketplace or a web store or the payment gateway company, as a party to the transaction, where that party is holding the funds until the buyer and seller complete the transaction. So for example, a buyer makes a purchase from a platform, let's say Lazada. The buyer pays to Lazada, right? Lazada holds the money in escrow until the seller sends the product to the buyer. So when the seller sent the product, let's say in 3 days, the buyer received the product, the seller would get the funds to be distributed to him minus the commission of the escrow company. Okay, so technically, companies like Lazada and Shopee, they are escrow platforms. They actually allowing a seller and a buyer to transact via the internet. Okay, and there are 3 types of business domain in this e-commerce environment. The first is business to consumer. So B2C market is what you see in your Lazadas, your Shopees, your Zalora. All these are B2C platforms, which allows companies to join in the platform as a business and then sell to customers as a business. And customers go directly towards this business and buy the product from them. Next, we have platforms which does B2B business. So B2B is in the sense that these are all business transactions between business to business, and these happen online. And the best example for B2B marketplaces is Alibaba. Okay, as you know, you can go into Alibaba's marketplace, the Alibaba.com, not the Taobao. The Alibaba.com is a B2B marketplace where people can reach out to suppliers, reach out to service providers to get their services done. Last but not least, there's also one more business domain. This is it used to be a small segment of e-commerce where very little people were actually using it, but it's becoming more of a trend right now, right? You see platforms like Carousel, Moda, all these platforms are actually growing quite big, and these are platforms which are actually in this domain. So you can see here, for business to consumer, we got Lazada, we got Shopee, Presto Mall, PG Mall. These are all platforms which I do business to customers. Then business to business, we have companies like La Pasa, Droppy, Ronjik Hero. They consolidate the purchases and they actually sell to the businesses on a consolidated manner as well. And for customer to customer, we got Moda.my and Carousel as well. Okay. So this is what happens. A buyer will go into a platform like Shopee and Droppy or Rigid Plus or any platform, and then go to and reach out to sellers. Sellers will then go to this platform and buy the transaction, and then the seller will then send the item via service providers like Post Laju, Lazada Express, Shopee Express, or Ninja Van, which will then send the item to the buyers here. Once the buyer receives the item, the platforms will release the payment to the sellers. Technically, this is the entire ecosystem. Okay. Now, there are 4 different strategies for e-commerce. Okay, you have to understand these 4 strategies takes 4 different approach when it comes to e-commerce. Okay, number 1 is social commerce. Okay, social commerce is a platform where you don't actually deal with companies like Lazada, Shopee, but you build your Facebook page, you build your Instagram page, you build your WhatsApp business account, and you run your business in this platform. So a lot of people would ask me, right, why people are not, optimizing your social commerce and then, growing big in the social commerce arena. Okay. So the problem with platforms like Lazada, Shopee, and Instagram is that it creates so much of traffic to you. It's possible to get so much of traffic. At the same time, there's also no clear intent. Okay. A lot of times, and I'm sure you all have done this before, you have seen a Facebook post, you don't have the trust. Sometimes you don't know whether this guy is scamming you, or whether this is a real product, or whether this is something, so is this something I would like to invest in? Then you just go in, say PM, or please private message me, or you put a message on the comment, right? And a lot of times these, social commerce entrepreneurs, they'll be coming after you in the fact, hey, would you like to buy this? Would you like to buy that? Would you like to buy this? And then, you are not just keen to entertain them. That's the problem of social commerce. The intent of buyers may not be there 100%, but you get a lot of eyeballs. You get so many people looking at you. You get a very huge reach, and with minimum market spend, or in the minimum marketing budget spend, you are able to reach out to a lot of people. Okay. And another problem in social commerce is that people tend to be overwhelmed. Okay. uh, so for example, I had sellers who are on the social commerce arena. They used to sell some masks. They used to sell things like hand sanitizers and stuff. Okay. And what happened was that initially, when they get the first 5-6 orders, they were excited, and they thought they can actually, do this business. They start 5-6 orders, they're able to do it. And then start getting, they got 50 orders, 60 orders, 70 orders. Things becoming a little bit more overwhelming for a business of 2 people, right? Usually social commerce is sort of like a business where there's only maybe 2 or 3 people in the company, or maybe just 2-person, a husband and wife, running the business. That's it's more like a nano industry. Okay. And a lot of micro entrepreneurs are actually in social commerce. Then once the sellers start making progress in social commerce, you start getting your Facebook account and your WhatsApp account start getting flooding and everything, then you can move into marketplace. So what happens when you move into marketplace? Okay. When you are a social commerce seller, okay, let's say for example, today I'm selling online and I'm selling it, my products in Facebook, right? And I don't have shipping options available with me. I don't have a payment escrow services available with me. So platform, my buyer would be like, so I'll ask my buyer, can you just transfer the money to my account? And the buyer would be like, what if you don't send the product to me? So this is going to be, a two-way problem, right? People will be like, should I trust him? Should I not trust him? All these problems will come in. So then that's when you have to move into a platform like a marketplace. Okay. Another key thing here is that today, if you take your parcel and you go to Post Laju or any Ninja Van or any platform, you will be paying for, the customer will be paying at least 8 to 9 ringgit for shipping fee. But when you go to a marketplace, because marketplace has already done all this negotiation with all these logistic providers, they have probably the best rates in the market for shipping and deliveries. And this allows you to now ship the product to the customers with a very, very cheap shipping fee. And for a customer, just think about it. If I buy from you from Facebook, you're going to charge me 10 ringgit shipping fee. If I buy it from you from Lazada, you ship my shipping, if the price of the product is the same, but my shipping fee is probably just 4 ringgit. Where would the customer buy you from? And for sure, with Lazada or Shopee, I also get my, my return policy, my warranty policy. If their product is not delivered on time, I can actually get my money back. All this sense of security is already placed in these marketplaces. And in social commerce, a lot of times what happens is people tend to misuse it. Okay, I'm sure you have seen a lot of stories where people start selling on Facebook and then they They take picture, make it look like it's a different product, and then when they send to you, it's a different product. And then when you try to fight with them and you try to make a fuss about it, they're just going to say, oh, you bought it, this is what I published, this is what you bought, and that's all. So a lot of times these social commerce sellers end up in a lot of this petty controversy in Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram. Okay, then once you go to marketplace, you establish yourself. When you establish yourself to become a brand, okay, just think about it. Today you go to a manufacturer, you tell the manufacturer, hey, you have any additional mask? Right now, for example, it's an overflow in the market. There's so many mask companies who are just producing masks, but there's just oversupply. Okay, so you tell them, hey, can you give me 500 units of mask to me? I want to sell online. Okay, they say, okay, I give you in consignment. Per unit, I give you for $5. Okay, so you take it in, then you go to your Lazada, Shopee, you go to your social commerce, you go to your, let's say you go to your Facebook and WhatsApp channels, right? And then you advertise your mask. You sell it at, let's say, $7.80. Okay, so per box you make $2.80 profit. Okay, so every product sold, you have to pay $5 to the supplier. You can take $2.80, and the customer also has to pay maybe a 5 ringgit shipping fee. Okay, so just look at the breakdown. 5 ringgit is your cost of product, $2.80 is your profit, and another 5 ringgit is the cost of shipping. So how much you're selling it for? You're selling it for $12.80. Okay, so let's say now you sell these 500 units out. Okay, you make $2.80 profit per unit, which means you make close to $1,000 in profit. Okay, now you have more capital in hand. You then commit to your supplier another 500 units. So you're taking 1,000 units then. Okay, and you're going to a marketplace. Okay, now you go to a platform like Lazada, Shopee. You establish a brand. That brand name is maskstore.com. Okay, just a sample lah. Okay, maskstore.com. So you set up your marketplace account, maskstore.com, but you get a little bit more innovative, right? With the additional funds you have, you now start bringing in different designs of masks. You have designer masks, you have different color of masks, and then you start going into the marketplaces. You start getting more orders. You start growing your orders from 500 units a week. You start going to 2,500 units to 5,000 units. Okay, eventually that maskstore.com will become a brand. And that's when you set up your own web store, your own website. We have all this data you gathered, because when you do business in marketplaces, what you get is data. You actually get to know your customer's name, his phone number, his address. All these are your database for you to start your direct-to-consumer business. Now, let's say you go and build your own web store with Shopify or WooCommerce, and you call this website maskstore.com. And you have all sort of designer masks, you have all these beautiful, colorful masks, and you start selling direct to consumers without a platform like Lazada, Shopee. Okay, when you go direct to consumer, what's the difference between going direct to consumers and marketplaces? Okay, usually what happens is in the marketplace business, there are a lot of policies. Okay, there's return policies, there's SLAs, there's also warranties. So for example, let's say you've got 5,000 orders, and your capacity is only to produce only to ship out maybe 2,500 orders today. Okay, and you have backlog orders, which means tomorrow you have to work 2 times harder to fulfill more orders. Okay, eventually you'll breach the SLA. The moment you breach the SLA, your ratings will start dropping down. Your fulfillment rates will start going down. Also, when this happens, a lot of companies will have their reviews and ratings being dropped. And marketplace is a very, very competitive environment. You have to understand that you are not the only seller in the marketplace. The same mask could be sold by another 50 or 60 different people. The same mask. So what makes you different from the rest? It's probably your copywriting. It's probably the way you write your listing. and also is probably the way you fulfill. If let's say your rating is higher, people are more likely to buy from you. Okay. Once you have established yourself in the marketplace, it is recommended you go direct to consumers. You go to your online stores, right? You go to your web stores and you build your brand and you start adding more products. You start becoming a branded store. And once you become a branded store, you don't just sell to a small market in Malaysia. Marketplaces are defined and restricted by certain geographical area. But when you go direct to consumers, you start selling to a region. So you can say that shipping worldwide. Okay, so you can even have customers buying from US, customers buying from UK, customers buying from Australia. And that's when you become a direct to consumer brand. You no longer restrict yourself to a regional consumer base. Okay, once you become a direct to consumer brand, you start supplying the entire world. Then massstore.com becomes a phenomenon in the entire world, right? The next thing you want to do is, once I'm so famous around the world, I start setting up retail outlets or kiosks. I go to retail and I set up retail outlets and I start putting up my products on the shelf. And I also make these retail outlets as e-commerce operations. So for example, somebody buys from my platform and he's actually placed in, let's say, Indonesia, in Medan. So instead of shipping the item from my warehouse here, I get my retail, the kiosk guy in Indonesia to deliver the item directly. Okay, so you guys understand how these strategies move along. So from being a social commerce seller, the final goal would be you go into a retail commerce seller. Okay, and when you do this, you actually establish your steps in gradual phases. And most our Malaysian sellers, they actually fall in this area right now. We have very few direct to consumer brands, very few. We only have maybe Bottoms Lab, the Oxwhite. Those are all direct to consumer brands, but we don't have that many direct to consumers brands. But I'm sure we will be able to see these direct to consumer brands in maybe in years or 2 years time. Okay, and right now, retail commerce is totally down. So this is a little bit of a maybe 2-year plan for a lot of companies right now. Okay, so let's look at platforms one by one. Lazada is one of the biggest platform in Malaysia. And in Malaysia, we have over we have 32 million population. And out of the 32 million population, at least 50% of them have actually gone to Lazada or visited Lazada. That's one of the best statistics I have ever read, that half of Malaysian population knows Lazada, knows Shopee. Okay, and Lazada was initially established by a company called Rocket Internet, and Rocket Internet is actually sort of like a venture capital firm from Germany. So they brought in a lot of these, smart European guys. They came to Malaysia and they set up Lazada and they run it. And Lazada was growing so fast, and they were literally the market leader for almost 7 years. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it's 7 years. Yeah, Lazada is here for I think almost 9 years now. So yeah, for 7 years they were the market leaders, right? And for 7 years, Lazada was making close to 1.2 billion in the Malaysian market alone. Okay, and yeah, if you can see here, the total market share of Lazada is around 70 million users. This is the entire region, including Thailand, Indonesia, all the rest of Southeast Asia. We have 70 million users, but this number is probably still a very much conservative number. This could be much bigger, because if you look at the market like Indonesia, Thailand, and Philippines, they are very huge markets as well. Okay, right now, Lazada is owned by Alibaba, 100% wholly owned by Alibaba Group. So there was a shift, right? So what happened was Lazada used to be this European mindset company, and now they are a China company. So there's been this major shift from the European culture to to be more brand conscious and stuff, to be becoming more wallet conscious, to become more how to say that, the Chinese way of operating e-commerce is that they are very, very prudent, and they actually try to run the business with a very low cost. Okay, that's why you don't see Lazada throwing in subsidies. So what used to happen is that if, let's say, you sell a mask for $5 and you say you want to sell it for $8, Lazada will then tell you sell it at $4, and people will be like, hey, how the hell the product is below cost price, right? And is this really worth or not? Is this real or not? For the seller, what happens is they still sell it at $7.80. What happens is when you buy it at $4, the platform will then pay the seller another additional $3.80. So for the consumer, it looks like I got a very good deal. For the seller, I actually got I got my full deal as well. I got my full money as well. Okay. Now Lazada comes in here. What they started doing with these subsidies is that they start building trust. People start using the platform more, and it starts becoming a habit. Okay, and they start integrating things like games. They start integrating things like reward points, coins, and all that. It starts, getting into your mind and saying that, hey, if I buy in Lazada, I get these coins, which can also give me additional. I can make my shipping fee free or something like that. Okay, so people just keep on. The platforms keep innovating themselves. Right now, they are actually called as shoppertainment. They are no longer a marketplace platform anymore. They are actually a shoppertainment platform. When you say shoppertainment, right, people are going into the platform not to actually buy things, but to be entertained. So that's why you see Lazada, inviting all these big artists for their, the 11/11, the birthday sales and everything. You can see these companies are really spending money in getting their brand across. Okay, and let's say you are a social commerce seller, right, and you're doing it on your Facebook. Can you then invite a A-list artist to just come in and do a performance just to promote your brand? No, it's not going to happen. But Lazada can do it. Shopee can do it. Shopee, the best thing about Shopee is that they got Cristiano Ronaldo to just come in and do an ad for them. Okay, and that ad was like, they're the first guy who made Cristiano Ronaldo to dance for Baby Shark music, right? So that's the type of branding they can actually bring to you. Okay, guys, any questions so far? I spoke for almost 30 minutes now. Any questions so far? No question. Okay. So Lazada, like I said, has been one of the biggest platform, and this is the traffic of Lazada, right? And this is for the last 6 months up to October 2020. Okay. You look at here, the data shows that in a day, in a month, they have over 13 million visits. So if let's say 13 million visit, and every visit is around 7 minutes, right? So if let's say 7 minutes, someone is on a platform, there's very likely at least one transaction occurring for every 7 minutes. Okay, so if you look at it, you just try to do the numbers. 13.7 million users, every 7 minutes is one transaction. So you probably know that how the 1.2 billion turnover is being generated. And you have to remember this 1.2 billion turnover is not Lazada's money, because that money actually goes back to sellers. Okay, Lazada will take a commission, or they'll take their payment gateway fee, and they will actually make money from their logistics. So there's 3 ways this platform makes money, right? They actually take a commission. Sometimes they don't take commissions as well, for some sellers lah. But there is a fee on the payment gateway. Okay, so payment gateway fee you cannot run away from. So technically, Lazada Shopee charges you 2.2% on payment gateway. So if you get 2.2% on payment gateway, out of it, maybe 0.8% goes to Lazada, and maybe 1.4% goes to payment gateway, which is the company which is providing the service. And then logistic, right? So for example, let's say your shipping fee is $5. Okay, Lazada would be actually getting the parcel for maybe $3. So Lazada would actually pocket $2 from the logistic fees as well. So that's how the platforms make money for every transaction. And that's the reason why a lot of times these platforms can actually give out discounted shipments. So they will actually let go of their earnings and they'll give it at $3.50. Now let's talk about Shopee. Okay, Shopee is a very, very interesting story to know. Okay, when Shopee was starting up, I was still in Singapore. So I was working in my company in Singapore, and Shopee is a Singapore company. And Shopee started off as a C2C company. Okay, when you say C2C, right? So what Shopee initially wanted to do was to beat Carousel. So that in the market at that time, there was Carousel and there was Shopee, and they were both a C2C platform. The only difference was that Shopee had payment gateway and the full escrow services for C2C market built into their platform. So which means you as a seller, you can log into Shopee, take a photo, update the picture, write a description, and sell with your phone. That was a very first marketing campaign which Shopee did in Lazada, when in Singapore, and a lot of people started jumping on it. Okay, and people initially Shopee started selling. There were a lot of used goods, People were selling second-hand products or products they get as gift, but they are not able to sell it. So those are the stuffs which Shopee started selling. Okay, and then Shopee got taken over. There was one investor called Garena. So Garena is actually, I'm sure for gaming guys they should know, a platform called Steam. Steam is actually a gaming platform, okay, a gaming marketplace per se, and that platform invested in Shopee, and that's when Shopee started getting big, and they got really big, and they started burning a lot of money, and they acquired users so fast. And Shopee's growth is very, very quick, right? What makes Shopee special? What makes Shopee different from Lazada, right? Shopee is very, very advanced in the technology in a way that they actually customize their marketplace to every market they go. So right now, Shopee is even available in Brazil, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, and every market they go, they have their own business logic. Okay, why I say this? If you go in Malaysia, right, our business are a little bit more structured, right? We have a more structured way of doing business. When you go to Indonesia, the businesses are very much loose. Okay, people they may not have a bank account, they may not even have a personal ID, or they may have duplicate personal IDs. So these are all problems when you go to Indonesian market. And in the Indonesian market, what you need to survive is you should be able to cater the micros, the smaller volume people who are selling it for maybe 500 ringgit, 600 ringgit. That's probably the entire month sales. And those are the guys you need to cater because that's the biggest volume. So Shopee went into the market and started giving technologies to these guys where they sort of become a banked environment. And they also started giving them microloans. Okay, they got partners, they started giving them microloans, they started improving their businesses, and then people started to adopt the technology bigger. Okay, and even today, Shopee is not a biggest platform in Indonesia. Indonesia, I think the market is sort of like fragmented. We have Bukalapak, we got Tokopedia, we got Blibli. So it's not I cannot say it's a 100% controlled by one party. But in Malaysia, you can say that Shopee controls probably I would say maybe 50% or 60% of the market, and Lazada has probably another 40% of the market, and it's sort of a neck and neck thing, okay? There's no, we don't have a clear leader, okay? But obviously, Shopee is slightly in a little bit more advanced position right now. In Singapore, it's quite an interesting area because Singapore is a very small market, but it's one market which has a lot of liquidity, which people are willing to spend in that particular market. Even though it's 4 million people, the spending could be, could actually be more than what you expect from a state like in Malaysia. Okay, for example, the spending amount in Singapore could be much higher than Kedah, Kuantan, Perlis, Terengganu, and Pahang combined. Okay, that's a sort of like the phenomenon we can actually look at. Thailand, the problem with Thailand is that there's a lot of restriction when it comes to doing business in Thailand. Thailand is, as you know, is actually very much a monarch friendly country, right? So there's a lot of restrictions. So a lot of companies, they don't go. A lot of foreign companies go into Thailand. They actually have a lot of reservation, but the local Thailand market is actually quite big. Okay, so most Thailand sellers they adopt any platforms they come in, so they don't actually bother much about whether it's Shopee, Lazada, or Bukalapak, or Tokopedia, or Gojek. They don't care. So they just go into any platforms they want. Okay, so Vietnam and Philippines is sort of like an early stage market. The spending power is not that high yet, but yeah, but this is both a growing market as well. And Shopee's turnover has been growing, and this is their latest turnover, which is around 3.8 billion US dollars. This is the entire region. Okay, and to register in Shopee, it's very, very fast. You can get your account done in like probably like 15 minutes, and you're ready to sell. Lazada may be around the same, but yeah, this is the difference. And this is the sort of like the average visit. This is shopee.com.my. It's only the Malaysian market. So you're looking at 42.95 million. Our population size is only 32 million, 34 million, right? But there's more visit than our population. What does this show? I mean, people actually use more than one phone to actually visit Lazada, Shopee, this particular website. So there's so much of visit, and if you look at this, you have at least 10 minutes people are on the website. I mean, 10 minutes is very, very good period for somebody to sit on a website to actually make a purchase. On average, a purchase can occur within 2 to 3 minutes. If I'm not wrong, it's within 180 seconds. You actually get one purchase in Amazon. So now, if today you want to be a seller, okay, what do you want to sell? Okay, so let's look at categories. Okay, you have so many different categories, right? We got the home and living, the groceries, the health and medical. We got gaming, accessories, all this stuff, right? Okay, first you must know which product you are well versed at. Okay, if you are going to sell a product, you must be able to tell everything about the product. You must be you don't have to be passionate about it. You don't have to be saying like, oh, I really love this product, I just want to sell this, I want to bring this, and you don't have to have that kind of attitude. All you have to know is, I have to really know inside out about a product. For example, I want to sell this mouse right now here. I have this piece of mouse in my hand, and what should I know about this mouse? This is a Bluetooth mouse. It operates with batteries. I need to have at least a 1.5 volt battery with me. Okay, and it has a roller, it has 2 clicks, and it's actually sturdy. Okay, it fits on my palm just nice. So these are all things you have to understand first. If you are going to sell a power bank, you have to tell, so what is this power bank for? So how many ports you have? How much ampere does each port actually supplies? Okay, how much is your total capacity of this power bank? All this information must be in your mind like a second, like a beat. You should be able to tell them in a second. You should be able to tell them. Okay, if you're going to sell a product which you don't understand, which you don't you don't have much information, are you going to be able to sell it efficiently? Okay, let's do an exercise here, right? I hope Kani is still online. Kani, are you still online?
Yes, sir.
Kani, maybe you can select 5 of these participants, maybe they can start telling you what kind of products they want to sell. And then, we can have a short discussion on how we can go about, planning this whole marketplace for operations, e-commerce operations.
5 participants, sir.
Yeah.
I'll call out the names if that's okay.
Yeah, maybe you call out names, maybe.
Yeah, is Ong Yong Zing there? Wu Yong Zing, sorry. Wu Yong Zing is there. Cheong Kai Ji. Maybe you guys can unmute. Izzat Hafiz, you're there?
Yeah, so Mr. Izzat, are you here?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just thinking right now.
Arif, are you there? Arif.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
Let me
okay.
think first.
Yeah, nice.
Hi, guys. So,
Dr. Bernard, maybe?
yeah. Okay, you guys have any, those guys selected by Kani, maybe you guys just unmute your mic and then we can have, an open conversation here. I just want to know that, what if today you were to start a business, what's the product you know very well that you can actually start a business with?
I think probably t-shirt designing, because I've done quite a bit of graphic design, so maybe I can transfer that to t-shirt, like designing the t-shirts. Yeah.
Say you want to sell t-shirt, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, for you to sell a t-shirt, what's your first cost? Your cost is to have, is it to have t-shirts or is it to have design first?
My first cost would probably be the money required to power my laptop so that I can like design the clothes to begin with.
Yeah. So
And
you're not selling your t-shirt. So you're not selling a material here. You're actually selling designs here, right? Because people can buy the white color t-shirt from anyone, but you are the only one who is going to supply it with this specific design which you're trying to design, correct?
Yeah.
So your design are your IP, your intellectual property. Okay. So what will happen is that as a designer, if let's say you're going into a business where you're doing t-shirt printing, the very first thing you do is you establish a t-shirt brand. Okay. This is how a lot of these big ponies and these top men and all these companies, the Pradas, all these fashion accessory companies, that's how they come up with. The first thing they do is they come up with the name of a brand. Okay. You know you're going to sell a product, a material product, but that material product is something which anyone can sell. But now what is your IP is the way this product is going to be designed. So you need to start looking at IPs. So every design you do, you then look into your copyright law, you start making them intellectual property for yourself. Then you go to a printer or you go to a manufacturer, you say that, hey, I have this is my design. This is the t-shirt specification I want to have. Can you manufacture for me? Okay. And then you select the material of the product. Okay. The design is more of a digital thing. But when you go to the physical stuff, you then have to decide on what price point you want to sell. Okay. Our Malaysian market, right, is actually divided in 3 different segments. We have the T20s, which is the top 20 where people can afford any price anytime. Okay. And then you have this M40, which is slightly a bigger chunk of the market, but this M40 it's a 50-50 type of scenario, right? They got money, but they are a little bit more conservative with the cash and they don't want to splurge it on some luxury stuffs. Okay. And then you got this B40 guys where they probably will not be able to afford you at all. So you need to look at these 3 markets. Okay. What makes a product tick, right? Okay, is that if you appeal to the top 20, then you start becoming like those fashion designer type of people, right? Where your design value is so high that people are willing to pay so big money for it. Let's say you can appeal to the masses, okay? You started producing designs which appeals to the masses, then you go to the M40 area. Or maybe some people who are on the borderline B40, M40, they would be able to afford you as well. And if let's say you are selling necessities, okay, a product which is a necessity across the board, B40, M40, and T20, then you are actually reaching out to all regions of product. So what do you think is a necessity which you can sell to all these three segments? Can anyone answer me?
Oh, a necessity to sell to all three. Could you repeat the last part? All three.
So for the all three segments, right? B40, M40, and T20. What is the product which you can sell?
Okay.
So for example, today, right? Mask is actually sort of like a must-have thing in anyone's house, right? It's becoming a necessity, right? If you can make an affordable mask, okay, you have a mask which is in three different categories, right? You can build a very, very cheap mask with unique designs on it, and that can go to this B40 category, right? And then you can have this N95 type of mask with designs on it. You can appeal that to the T20 market. And then on the middle round, there's also some people on the M40, they could afford the N95 type of mask, and then they can also, most of them would be able to buy the standard mask. Okay, I can show you two scenarios here, right? If you do a mask and you price it at $8, anyone can afford it. So the B40, M40 will surely buy. The T20 also will buy. First, they don't want to spend so much of money on mask, right? But then let's say now you have a mask brand which is an N95 quality or KN95 quality with designs on it, and you price it, each mask is $100. For sure the B40 will not buy from you because $100 for them is a very big money. The M40 would be like maybe if I get my bonus, or if I get my additional money, or if I get my EPF money or something, then I might consider buying this, but it's very, very unlikely. But T20, they might, because for them they see that, oh, this mask is good, it's very high quality, has wonderful designs, and it allows me to make a statement. Okay, if I'm buying a mask which is $100, I'm making a statement to my colleagues, my peers. Okay, so they would buy. But the problem now is, if you have this $100 mask, but you make 1 million units of it, your market size is only 10,000 people, then you are in a losing position because only 10,000 people can buy this mask, but you got 1 million unit. So even if, let's say, each one, so technically you need this 10,000 people, each one of them to buy at least 100 units to actually clear your entire stock, which is a little bit of no-brainer, right? It's a little bit risky for people to buy that way, think that way. So if you are catering for a T20 market, you should have lower supply, because when you have lower supply, you then create a value for the demand. When you go to the mass market, you have more product, more supply, but you have lower fees, lower price. That's what Milo does, right? Okay, Milo is a fast-moving good, right? I'm sure at least 90% of household in Malaysia actually has a Milo in their house. Okay, but Milo is priced at Milo has so many different pricing, right? They have the smaller packet, which is $6.80. They got this middle range package, which is like 15 ringgit, and then they have this 2 kg, which is close to 30 ringgit. Okay, so the 30 ringgit package actually is actually something which is people who are in the T20 market, they just buy it because they say like 30 ringgit, it can last me for 2 months. But if let's say I'm a B40, or I'm somebody who is just barely making my ends meet, I'll then go to the money market, supermarket, buy the $6 packet, and then maybe use it for one whole month. Okay, it's the same product, but consumption is different. Maybe the T20 guy, he makes 4 scoop Milo. This guy maybe makes his Milo with just 1 scoop of Milo powder. So that's the difference you have to understand. So is that right? Or is that?
Yeah, both is okay.
Yeah. So is that based on this explanation, right? If you're going to sell your clothing business, right? You're going to start your clothing line. Which market segment would you appeal to?
Probably the one where I can sell it at a lower demand, because like I like to take time with my designs and actually make them look good, rather than I'm more of a quality over quantity kind of person.
Okay.
So yeah.
So for example, let's say now you're appealing to the B20 as the T20 market, right? The top 20 market. Okay. Then your total branding exercise for your product has become totally different, right? What if, let's say, you want to appeal to the B40 market? What would be the product you actually go for? In the fashion industry itself, clothing line itself.
Actually, I'm also researching this B40 T20 right now. I need to make sure I understand what we're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, you want to appeal on a fashion industry, you want to appeal to the lower market, you actually go for singlets.
Singlets. Oh, okay.
Singlets.
Okay.
Kain pelikat.
Oh yeah, paham. Okay.
So
understood.
those are stuff which people use very routinely at home, right? Menswear, kain pelikat, shorts, homeware stuff. Okay.
True.
These are stuff, like the B40, the M40, you don't mind buying online, because it's just to buy and wear at home. You don't mind doing it. Okay. And if, let's say, you're a designer brand, you are appealing to the top end of the market, right? Maybe your clothes will be only worn out by maybe 2 times a year or 3 times a year, that kind of a product. Okay. But if, let's say, you started selling things to the M40, the B40, you started selling shorts, you start selling singlets, maybe kain pelikat or something like that, which gives you faster return, which means you sell more items in a shorter period of time, but per item profit is much lower. Okay, maybe later when I go through some of the shops, you'll be able to understand better. Let's look at the next thing, right? Okay, a lot of businesses makes this mistake. Okay, today if I want to sell, I'll think of my supply cost. Okay, I buy this item for $10, I sell it for $15, so I make $5. But you have to understand, there's also operational cost for your business. You don't work for free. Your staff don't work for free. If, let's say, you hired a part-timer, even you pay him 50 ringgit, that's a cost. Okay. So a lot of businesses, they don't factor in the operational cost. Okay. So they'll be like, oh, this item I bought for $5. I sell it for $50. I make 45 ringgit. But to sell this, then if you sell for 45 ringgit, suddenly, let's say, you got 1,000 orders, you have to hire, let's say, 5 people to fulfill these orders. That cost of fulfillment must also go into the cost. Then you also have to think about the logistic cost. The logistic cost can also, for example, a lot of people you see, right? They'll take the car, they fill up all the car with all these parcel boxes and everything, and then they go to Post Laju and drop off. The car is not running on water, right? You're paying fuel, the car has to do maintenance. All these are also logistic costs, which people don't factor in. So when you are running a business, you have to understand the supply, operation, and logistic cost is all inclusive when you generate the cost of a product. Then only you make your margin. Okay, and e-commerce is one of the most brutal segment to go and compete with, because people can go up to 1%, 2% margin of product. Okay, if, let's say, your product is $8 and you're selling it at $10, you may not actually be successful, because there could be another seller who could be selling it at $9.50, or there could be another seller who could be selling it at $9.30. Okay, I give you a small experience of mine. Okay, I had this seller. I don't want to name them, but they are actually selling power banks. Okay, and they are an expert in power banks. So they bring so many different designs, and they don't just import from China. They also import from Europe. They import from US. Different countries, they have different brands, and they bring them in. Okay, and when I went to the warehouse, and I was like so shocked. They had one box, 10,000 units of power bank. 10,000 units. So, and the guy told me it's only one thing. Okay, I make $2 per box. I make $2 per unit. So, okay, but his warehouse is huge. He has a 15,000 square foot warehouse. He has 15 staffs and everything. And when he called me up, he was telling me, you know, my business make a lot of money. Okay, I'm making 500,000, 600,000 worth of sales a month, but I'm not profitable. I'm actually still putting in money to cover my costs. Can you tell me why? Okay. When I went and looked at his warehouse, he was selling product at $1 margin, $2 margin, but he had so many units, he had so much of stocks. So what happens is that sometimes when you sell certain units, let's say for example, you bring 10,000 units of certain power bank, but only 1,000 sells. Okay, and another 9,000 units are just stuck there as inventory. If let's say your items are not clearing off your warehouses, you are stuck with assets which eventually will become liability. Okay, because these assets, these stocks cannot be cleared. If people don't want to buy it, people don't want to use this particular item, you can't do anything about it. So we had to go through an exercise where we had to look at items at cost price and just clear them off the shelf. Because the more stocks you have in your hand, the more risk you are taking. Okay, and if let's say your items are not clearing off your shelves, technically you're increasing your liability because your rental cost is still there, your staff cost is still there, all your operational cost is still going to be there, but you're not making money. Okay, so you must understand this, that when you buy products, one of the most important thing is estimate the supply for e-commerce. Okay, and if let's say you are starting a business in e-commerce, the right number to start with is 50. If you can sell a product, 50 units of it, that's a possible business you can work on. From 50, then you go to 100. If you can double the sales, then that's a serious business you can consider. Now, if that 100 can become 500, that is a real business you are working on. And that 500 becomes 1,000 or 2,000 units a month, that's when you start saying, this is my business, I'm going to be full-time on it. Okay, and a lot of times what happens is I have friends who or my merchants who I worked with before. They started with first day, they go gung-ho, right? Somebody from China will come and say, hey, I got these units of 10,000 units, you can help me clear or not? I give you for a very cheap price, $2,000, you take everything and then you sell. So you pay the $2,000, you get the item, 10,000 units is in your home, and then you start selling, right? And then you start realizing, you know, this 10,000 units is not going to sell at all. So these $2,000 are just burnt to waste. It's gone. Okay. This is a mistake. Don't make this mistake. When somebody comes to you, tells you, hey, I have this, you know, awesome product, I would like you to resell in Malaysia, and this is my cost. You tell him, you give me 50 items first. You give me 50 units first. If I'm able to sell 50 units, I'll buy 100. If I'm able to buy 100, clear 100, I'll buy 500. If I'm able to clear the 500, then I'll start buying 1,000 units from you. Never commit into costs. Never commit into stocks, which is going to give you, which can become a liability. Because until you make a sale, you are not going to make any money. Okay, this is the mistake a lot of our people make. And you know, a lot of our machi and uncles now do all this propok lah, this sambal lah, and all that, right? In the bottle up when they sell. Some of them are very successful. Some of them have actually been burnt because of a few mistakes. So things like propok leko and stuff, they have a very short I mean, they have like a 6 months shelf life. 6 months shelf life is actually sort of like, it's like a bonus lah. Usually it's 3 months shelf life. Okay, and the sambal and everything maybe 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months as well. Okay, sometimes this machi, she's so gung-ho, right? She'll go make a batch, she make 5,000 units, but her market is only 2,000 people. People who are buying her product is only 1,000 people. You cannot expect these 1,000 people to go buy all your stocks just because you made it, right? So if we are going to do, let's say for example, Izzat is going to do his clothing business, he must make sure that he has the right number estimated. If you feel your product has 100 people market, you only print 50. Because if you print 100, if you feel you got 100 people likely to buy your product and you print 100, if let's say the 100 don't buy, you are down with stocks in your hand, which you cannot convert into money. Okay. Any questions so far, guys?
Quite understandable actually.
Quite understandable, yes. Okay. Then comes the third part, your growth. How do you grow, right? First thing, when you start a business, you must understand your consumer behavior. Okay, you must have a very, very close connection with your consumers. And to know that, you must start befriending with a lot of other online sellers. Let's say, for example, Izzat is selling fashion, right? He must have a friend he must start to look for somebody who's selling accessories or who's selling car accessories or car products and stuff. Good, doesn't make sense, right? I'm selling fashion, and why you're asking me to friend with car accessory guys, right? So if let's say you have a friend who is in the car accessories and he's actually doing car accessory sales, okay, he knows what is his consumers' behavior, right? He knows what are the car brands which these consumers are using and everything, and you can start building designs which reflect all these brands, reflects all these trends, and you can use that as an inspiration to the next line of products. So don't be just within your circle trying to serve your circle of people. Try explore out, go into different markets, okay, different categories. So I have sellers who are selling pharmaceutical products, like for example, like medical kits, pregnancy kits, and all that, but they actually work very closely with accessory sellers, people who sell anting-anting, chains. And I asked them, why you do this collaboration? I don't understand. He said, my products are actually very much connected to his segment as well. Women who buy all these products will also likely need my products. So I partner with him. When he get more sellers, he actually get to sell one of my medical kits as part of his promotion. And I will be able to throw an accessory to my sellers, to my buyers as well. So this is the type of collaboration you have to actually grow your business. And then you must understand, somebody put in a message. Sorry. The next thing you have to do is setting pricing strategies and profit margins for specific categories. So if you go to a segment like fashion, right? Fashion is usually very, very profitable, okay? Because your cost to build to print a shirt and everything probably is 10 ringgit, 12 ringgit, but you can easily sell your product at 30 to 40 ringgit. Okay, it's sort of like accepted pricing in Malaysian market. So you make like 300%, but you have to understand, fashion is also one of the most brutal environment because it has a lot of returns. Zalora apparently has actually 50% return rates when they started off. 50%, which means if 10 items were sold, 5 of it will likely to come back to the warehouse. Okay, so that's a very high return rate. And return means there's additional cost, because when there's a return, you actually pay for reverse logistic as well. The cost of reprocessing the stock to put it back. Sometimes, let's say for example, people try on these clothes and everything, you have to send it for a washing or some sanitization work. All these are costs. On the other end, you go to fast moving goods. Okay, let's say you start selling insect repellents, or you start selling antibacterial sprays, housing, household products, right? Your margins may be just 3 to 5% or 8% maximum, but you get business, you get a lot of orders. People start buying your products off the shelf very fast. That's why supermarkets, they have a lot of shelf empty, but when you go to the malls, you see a lot of these big shops, they have so little people, but supermarket is full of people. Okay, supermarkets are very low margin but high volume sales. On the other end, clothing type of things, you don't have volume, but you probably have more margin. Okay, so you must understand which pricing strategy you can go in. Okay, and then another thing, a lot of merchants will be like, oh, Shopee offered me to become an exclusive seller in Shopee. Lazada offered me to become exclusive seller in Lazada. They say they can give me this much of sales and everything. This will work because it's just a gimmick, right? They know that your product can actually last for you for a few months, and they offer you this gimmick, and then they hold you back. They don't want you to go to another platform. But as a brand, as a business person, you should not limit yourself in one platform. In fact, you should not just limit yourself to Lazada, Shopee. You should scale yourself to as many platforms as possible in the shortest period of time. The reason to do this is because the more platforms you increase, the more probability you actually get sales. Have you got, I'm sure you guys heard this term, Elon Musk, right, said something, increasing your luck surface. Okay, and to increase your luck surface, you have to actually have more platforms, more possibilities to get more sales. So you keep on growing yourself. And e-commerce, last one is, for an e-commerce business to be established, you will need at least 3 to 6 months. Okay, don't believe in the hype saying that, oh, this product is selling so much, be an agent, start selling this product, and you make five-figure digits, 5-figure earnings, 6-figure earnings in less than 2 weeks. These are all, it all doesn't work. Okay, you have to be very, very sensible that for an e-commerce business to be sustainable, it takes more than 3 to 6 months. You can start off as an agent. Okay, to be an agent, it doesn't cost you any money. Usually, all you have to do is register in the platform as an agent, as a reseller. You make a small cut for every sales you make. But to be a successful agent, you must be able to market the product. You must have the ability to convince people to buy the product. If let's say you're a lousy salesman, don't bother becoming an agent. Okay, that's what happens. A lot of time you pay this agent fee, or just pay 200 ringgit. You can be an agent, and then you can sell all this product and make all this money, right? And then you pay the 200 ringgit, you become an agent, and then you start saying, hey, I don't make any orders. I don't seem to be able to sell this product. So don't make a jump to become an agent just because somebody convinced you to do it. Some of it can be like a multi-level MLM type of scheme, which a lot of times doesn't work out well. But my suggestion to you is, to be a successful seller, you have to have discipline. You really have to look at your numbers very, very accurately and grow your business efficiently. Okay, there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of softwares which you guys can use to simplify your whole process and plan long term. Okay, don't quit too fast. Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
I think I'm done with my slides. Any questions, guys?
No.
Morning. I do have a question.
Yes, can talk a bit louder.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, can.
Okay, so early on you mentioned stuff about some seller, they are probably just making 1 or 2% of margin,
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pretty sure we all have come across this situation, some seller online, they like sell out the products at a very, very low price. And this somehow affected other sellers because the price that they throw out, let's say I'm selling this mouse that you've mentioned earlier. Let's say if I include all of my costs, I probably need to sell this mouse at 20 ringgit. But the other seller is probably like throwing out the price at probably below 10 ringgit. It's actually like a very unhealthy scenario, but is there anything we can do to, uh, solve this problem, or like to handle situations like this, so that we don't also jeopardize our business?
Yes. Okay. So if let's say somebody is selling below cost price, right? There's only two reasons for it. One is he really needs the money. Okay. And second thing is he's trying to kill your business. Okay. If two ways of looking at it, right? If he's going to keep on selling at below cost price, he can only sell it at up to certain amount. Okay. If he has 100 units which he can make a loss at, he can only sell 100 units. So as a seller, a lot of people will then think, oh, I want to go and match the price. I also lose money. Don't do that. Okay. Don't slash your price. It's okay that the sales you're missing out on that particular time is okay. You are not just relying on that one product, sales of one product, right? You have all other products. As a business, you must make a margin. You must have a profit margin on your product. If you are selling product below cost price, you are actually losing money, right? Okay. So there's no point you trying to go compete with these sellers or throwing price. What normally we do is to compete with sellers throwing price like this is we go to smart bundling. If you're selling a mouse and you start building more value to your customers, right? You start throwing in a service coupon. You start throwing in, for example, let's say, for example, his listing doesn't give you any warranty. You offer your seller a 2-year warranty. Okay, a lot of times this happens. Very common thing. Mouse, any electronic gadgets, that would be somebody, a buyer would come in to buy. Okay, and the companies who, let's say one company selling it at 180, and another one is selling it at $200. Okay, technically both the product has 1-year manufacturer warranty. Okay, both the product has 1-year manufacturer warranty. But what will happen is the seller who is, let's say one of the sellers go below cost price. Let's say they go below, let's say 150 ringgit, and the other one is $200. So what the $200 guy would do is that instead of giving 1-year warranty, he would offer 1-year brand warranty, 1-year shop warranty. So when his shop warranty means he actually starts including his services. If let's say your product go missing or your product has any issues, you can bring to his shop, he'll try to fix it for you. Okay, and this 1-year shop warranty has a lot of these terms and conditions, right? Our people are not so how to say that, so detailed enough. They go read all these terms and conditions. But when the outlook, right, you say that, oh, this one 150 ringgit 1-year warranty, this one 180 ringgit 2-year warranty. Oh, never mind, I buy for 180 ringgit, additional 30 ringgit, I can get a 2-year warranty. The product is more stable. So this is the type of mechanism people adopt to fight all this below market price shenanigans. Does that answer your question, baby?
Yep, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question, guys?
I'm just wondering, have you heard of print on demand? This is to do with the t-shirt designing thing.
Yeah, print on demand, yes.
Is it a viable thing, or is it like an oversaturated market at this point?
Okay, print on demand. Okay, on demand printing, not just on any shirts or anything. On demand printing is actually something on the rise. But the problem with on demand printing is that your fulfillment process is going to be longer. Okay, so if let's say, for example, unless you have full automation, which is going to cost you really good money. Because for you to have the equipment to do it, yes, you can go ahead and do it. But if you don't have the investment money to go and invest in this whole machineries to automate the whole process, then I would not recommend you to go into that area, because it's manual work. You may actually be losing money actually, because your manual process can be just so much more than, because you think about it, right? You have design process, then you got this molding, you got this printing, and then you have this final touch where they spray things and everything, and then you probably have to go for a wash or something before you ship it out. So this whole process, if let's say it's automated, and when people make a design request, the machine can automate this whole process, then yes. But if it's going to be a sort of like a, I'll say that a process where you're going to print the thing and then make the molding separately, and then you're going to put the paint on it and separately to press it and stuff, it's just not going to make any sense to do it.
I see. What if I just had to do the design, because there's websites like Redbubble that will
Yeah, that makes sense.
do it.
If
Okay.
if you're supplying designs to these websites, and these websites are publishing the designs on shirt and selling them out, yes, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
So guys, maybe I just want to show you guys something here. So this is a Lazada seller center. How many of you seen this before?
The
Sir, the screen is not visible, sir.
Okay, you're not seeing this screen. Yeah. Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you can see here, this is Lazada seller center. You look at first thing you look at is here. Okay, how much is your seller rating? Oh, this shop got 88%. Product rating coverage is 33%. So if somebody chat with you, if let's say you reply in less than few seconds, you get a very higher response rate. Okay, ship on time, or this guy's seller ship on time close to 85%, so it's okay. Then you look at your cancellation rate, your return rate, your basket size, and everything. So these are all key stop metrics which you have to monitor over a period of time. And you look at here, this one. This is a business advisor record. So this shop had 1 visitor and 3 page reviews, but they had no visitors in the last. But they had a spike here. Okay, if you look at this thing here, on this 8 days, they actually had a massive spike. Okay, so this is how your your business trend would look like. You'd have almost 0, 0, 0 for many days, and suddenly you'll have one spike, and then you'll have a drop, and then you have a spike, you have a drop. Suddenly your product will be in trend. Okay, and then it'll just go die down, and then it'll go back again. So to have this continuous spike, right, what you need to do is increase your assortment size. Okay, there's a matrix which you can look at. For example, if you have 1,000 products, 100 will be a selling product. And out of this 100, 50 would have continuous purchases. And out of these 55 would be a top seller. So usually it's that's the sort of like a matrix you have to work on. So a lot of time, what people would do is they'll just keep on adding assortments. Assortments, you don't go buy stocks, Okay. For example, like if you're selling products, you're selling clothing, right? You add more size, you add more colors, you add more varieties. So you have the same units committed. For example, you go to a manufacturer and say, I want 100 units of this, but I want 10 in gray, 10 in blue, 10 in white, and 10 in green. And I want different sizes. I want 5 in this size, 5 in this size, 5 in this size. Then the same 1,000 unit, you got more SKUs, you got more assortments. You start appealing to the masses. You start appealing to a target segment. For example, you could start appealing. For example, you have a shirt which is in S size and is in gray color. it appeals to one guy. Okay, or let's say another option. Let's say, for example, you want to sell FMCG products. Okay, fast moving goods. You want to sell maybe a wash or a spray wash or something like that. Okay, you go to the manufacturer says, I got this, this is the solution. You have all these flavors, or you have all these sprays, you can add on, which as an additional thing, you can have more variety of smell. Okay, then you add different, you got lavender, you got these blossoms and all that. So you got so much of variety. So you build more varieties within your same product range and increase the assortments, because you never know which one of these assortments can actually appeal to a particular user base. And based on that, then oh, there's more people buying lavender. Then you start buying more lavender stocks. So you stop buying all these lily blossoms and all that. You stop buying them. Jasmine, all that. So this happened a lot I had a company which is doing tea business. They're selling tea online. Okay, and they had 40 varieties of teas. They brought all the stocks from Sri Lanka, from India. They bought all these teas coming into Malaysia, right? And they start selling. But only 5 of the tea was selling. They were selling the gold tea, the lemon tea, the ginger tea, and the normal 2 basic loose tea, and also the packet tea. So the rest of the flavors, they were all just there to make the numbers. Okay, but if today, if they just imported these 5 teas, right, and they started selling, people will not look at the shop and then they'll be like, hey, this people are only selling 5 teas, no variety. Okay, so people won't buy from you. But because you had that 40 different teas in your hand, in your stock, but those other 40, you don't have actually much stocks. Maybe you have 1 unit, 2 units is enough. So you just keep them so that you can build more assortments, but you have more stocks on your top assortments. Okay, so that's another way you can actually look at increasing your sales. So, and yeah, for this shop, like you can see here, they're selling masks. Okay, we did not have anything for the entire month of July, and we didn't have anything. Suddenly, end of July, we had a massive spike, and then we started selling. The reason why this spike came along was that our manufacturer allowed us to sell it at $7.90. We bring the price down, and we started clearing up so much of stocks during this period. Okay, and you can see here, you can always monitor this. You can use vouchers, free shipping, and flexi combo as all your promotion materials to sell more items. Okay, the campaign, there's so many traffic tools you can look at. Sorry guys, this one I don't think there's much data for you guys to see, but maybe on another day, if we can have time, I can actually go through with you a real seller account where you can actually see more things. You can actually monitor live. Okay, any question, guys?
Guys, if you all have any questions and you all have any audio problems, you can also write it in the chat box.
Okay, somebody asked on this thing, how about selling services, medical consultancy? Okay, yes, okay, if you are selling medical consultancy, right, what I would suggest for you to do is look into non-prescriptive medicine as a way of starting your business, online business. So you can go into things like vitamins and supplements and all that, and start selling them as a product, and then you build in your services into it. So what happens is, for example, you do a bundle saying that I would like to, I'm selling these vitamins, which helps you to boost your productivity. Okay, and with this sales, with this thing, I actually give you 1 hour consultancy for my services. Okay, so you include the cost of your 1 hour consultancy in this product itself, and then when you sell it, you offer them as a services. So people know your product, know your business. Then you can set up continuous services. A lot of companies do it. A lot of physiotherapy centers, centers which are doing physiotherapy and stuff, they actually do this. So they sell all these physio equipment and all that, and then they say, okay, give you free two. You buy this equipment, we give you free 2 sessions at our at our location, or free 2 house calls consultancy. So people can actually they will know your brand better. Okay, is that only can be viewed by sellers? Yes, yes. The performance center is only can be viewed by sellers. Okay, so this information is only specific to a particular seller and for the particular shop. Okay, any other questions? Is there any book recommended to know more about e-commerce? Okay, you want to study a book. To be very honest, we have seen a lot. I've read a lot of e-commerce books and stuff, right? But a lot of these e-commerce sellers, a lot of these theories in the books and stuff tends not to work actually with a lot of these businesses, right? And the best business book where the best reference you can actually look at is value proposition model and business model canvas. Okay, these two tools has been one of the most used key tools for any businesses which is doing e-commerce, because they actually able to analyze their entire business very efficiently and reach out to the people very well. Okay, so I would recommend you to understand business model canvas and value proposition model for you to build a better business, rather than going into reading all these e-commerce related books, right? Some of them are just pure bullshit, you know. Like I'm sure you guys see things like, oh, how to make 5-figure of Amazon, how you make 50 million, 500,000 from Alibaba and all that. A lot of it are scam. So don't waste your time reading all these books. The real business is about selling value to people. So to understand that, look into business model canvas and value proposition model. Does that answer you, Li Hui? If you want to know about how small business company operates, right? Okay, let me explain how a seller in Malaysia or a small seller works, right? A small seller would have $5,000 capital. A MNC would have 50 million capital, but a small seller would have an opportunity to clear this $5,000 worth of stocks and rotate the money another round, okay, with additional capacity. So what happens is this: let's say I got $5,000 in my hand. Okay, I invest in one product which I feel I can sell. I can go to the market, I source all these products, and I start selling it. I clear them with, let's say, 20% margin, so I make $6,000. Now I reinvest into the business 5,500. Okay, 500 is my profit which I take to my account, and 5,500 goes back into the business for more stocks. Now it comes back out again, you make another 30% margin. So that's how smaller businesses actually operate on a very day-to-day basis. They have a very short runway, and they actually try to they have a very short turnover time. On the other hand, an MNC which does a $50 million budget, they probably have a longer runway, but their goal will be much bigger. That 50 million should make maybe 250 million, 500 million business for them. But for these smaller companies, they have a limited budget, but they have shorter turnaround, but they will be able to do more cycles of sales compared to what an MNC will actually do. Any other question, guys?
Mr. Kuhaanand,
Yeah.
Based on your preference, which online platform would you prefer to buy or sell any products from?
Which product? Okay, for me, I would prefer for me personally, I actually would prefer Shopee right now because Shopee has a lot of traffic at this stage, but it's either Shopee or Lazada. These are the two platforms I would actually recommend to. Another platform which you guys can really look into is Carousel. Okay, Carousel has been, even though it's not a transactional platform, it's more of a chat-based platform. It's actually good for somebody who's starting off new to go into Carousel because it's very low cost. It's very easy to use. You can chat your sellers on your buyers on your phone itself, and you can start making micro transactions first before you go into a Lazada Shopee. The problem with Lazada Shopee environment is that there's SLAs. There's so much of compliance and laws which you have to follow to be successful. But an environment like Carousel and stuff doesn't give you that much of compliance work. You just have to start selling and you make your early profits. Then you start streamlining yourself to go into platform like Lazada and Shopee.
Excuse me, can you repeat? Is it Carousel?
Yeah, Carousel. Carousel, Muda.my, all these classifieds platform.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Kuhaanand.
Yes.
So, as we all know, Instagram, there's like massive users, and I think we all noticed like they added this feature, Instagram Shop, but to be honest, I don't see much people using it. But is it actually working, or like what's their main focus on?
You mean Instagram Shop, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so platforms like Instagram Shop, Facebook Shop, and all that, right? Even though they exist in a media which has a lot of traffic, right? They are not one of the most successful transaction areas. They are not one of the most highest selling area because of two things. Because first thing, there's not enough payment monitoring. They are not a marketplace platform where there is serious. So if I'm a buyer, right? If I'm a buyer, if I realize that the seller is selling it in Instagram and he has a Shopee link or a Lazada link, I would always go to either one of these platforms to buy it. Okay, and if he says that you have to deal with me directly on his platform, then there's always this sense of mistrust, right? Sometimes you don't trust these influencers, you don't trust these guys who are selling it online from Facebook. Because you never know, they take the money from you. If they don't send the item, you're not going to have anything, right? You're just going to lose money and you're going to make a police complaint. So because a lot of scams has happened in that area, that's the reason why the Facebook, the Instagram shop and the Facebook shops tend to not have that much of impact. But a lot of people do put a lot of media, a lot of content, Facebook and Instagram to attract traffic. But eventually they will direct them towards their Shopee or Lazada or their own shop.
Yep, understand that. Thank you.
Okay, so that's from my side. Any other question, guys? So Kani, I think if there's no other questions, we can end the session. So yeah, there's one question.
Okay, guys, before your leave, let's take a photography session first. So whoever's here can just on their videos. And Akash, please take the screenshot.
Thanks, Marvin. So I'll wait for a few more seconds. Okay, guys, I'll be taking the screenshots right now. I have 2 pages. So page 1. And page 2. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Okay, guys, also before,
There is a question in the chat box that how to trade via Lazada.
Okay, so to sign up with Lazada Shopee, you have to go to sellercenter.lazada.com.my, and you can actually do your registration. All you need is just a phone number. You need to have a phone number which is not registered in Lazada, and you need to have email. And so I would suggest you create a new email for your Lazada account and your Shopee account as well. So that's all. You can go to any of the platform. It's just a very quick registration. You're done very fast. Okay. Okay, guys. I think
fill up the feedback form also. Okay.
Thank you,
And
Kani. Thank you, Kani, and the team for inviting me today. And I think hopefully you had a good session today. And if you guys are interested to learn more, if you guys are interested to be a seller and you guys want to experiment this whole experience, right? I have a manufacturer who's actually willing to give products on consignment. So you can reach out to me. I have things like masks. I got things like hand sanitizers and other stuff, which you guys can be official resellers in Lazada, Shopee, and maybe you can try experimenting yourself first. Instead of getting yourself burned buying all these stocks, all you have to do is just become a registered. You can just reach out to me. We will put you as a registered reseller in our system, and you should be able to sell all these items from Monday onwards. Kani, you have sent my email to them, right?
Yes, sir. It was in the slides also, previous slides. Maybe I can send it to them.
Yes, I'll just send my email address on.
Yes, sir.
On the chat, so you guys can just reach out to me. Just inform me that you guys are from this particular talk, so that I know that it's not somebody new.
okay, on behalf of Rotaract Club of AIMST University and Rotary Club of Sungai Petani, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to Mr. Kuhaanand Subramaniam, who spared his time with us today to share his wide amount of knowledge in his expertise of his field of work. And we'd also like to thank all the participants who came and joined us this weekend in the morning, especially. And you guys are the source of our motivation to keep doing this great stuff. And we hope you guys will keep supporting us in our future sessions. Thank you, everyone.